Hey guys, welcome back to Three Girls, One Office, where we are talking the tough stuff. All things living, thriving, sometimes even criving. We're going to hit all those things today. I'm here in the studio with Dee and Steph as always.
Hello.
We've got Dan, our producer today. Hello,
Welcome, Dan.
We are here in the Westchester studios, which is right outside of Westchester. They handle all things podcasts. So if you've ever thought about doing one, this is the place to do it. You're not in Westchester? No worries. Check out the King of Prussia studio. That is brand spanking new. We are talking today about a very big buzzword, I'd say.
Yes.
And we're going to hit it. Steph,
Okay.
tell us what we're talking.
Well, we're going to be talking about gaslighting 101 here. My ear.
Sorry.
Sorry. So we were kind of chatting about, we keep a little running list of things we want to talk about with everyone. Yep. And the buzzword, I'd say specifically the last 5 years, the term gaslighting, I don't think a day goes by where I don't hear that word.
Right.
Someone say it, accuse someone of it.
Right.
Just, and like sometimes I almost think like, are we using it correctly? You know,
Sure.
So I kind of found it interesting to really kind of dive in and do a little research on gaslighting. I know like Dee and I were talking when we first got here, and it's like we were almost thinking like, oh my gosh, once we started researching, are we gaslighters?
Yeah.
So
Every time I research a topic
yeah.
for the podcast, I hurt my feelings. Like it was interesting because I'm like,
Sure.
God, I say that all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, let's define, like, I guess we should, first of all, I mean, most people probably know what gaslighting is.
Sure.
But it's like, it's basically like psychological manipulation of another person, like to almost convince them or talk them out of their feelings.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's wild. So I was like looking up like buzzwords for it, like what are people actually doing? And they'll say things like, you're too sensitive and I mean, I think people say that to me all the time because I am, but
Right.
I mean, even times maybe when I'm not being too sensitive, but, you're too sensitive or, if I'm feeling a certain way that, or saying, that never happened or something like that. So can you think of a specific time you were gaslighted or, like a friend was gaslighted or?
I think yes.
Okay.
One time I was trying to rehash a situation and the person was like, that's not how it happened. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like going through and I'm like looking on text messages and I'm looking for like receipts.
Where?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not crazy. And then it really is like,
You
maybe I
question
am
yourself.
crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is how it happened. And they're like, nope, this is not how it happened. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. Like, it really does make you second guess yourself.
Right.
So when people say to you, like, you're being too sensitive, do you think, oh, I'm not? Or do you think, like, maybe I am?
Well, because I look at myself as a sensitive person, that even at times when I'm feeling very strong about something, I think when someone says something to you that hits you like that, I do start to doubt myself or question myself, like maybe I need to grow a thicker skin, maybe it is me.
Mm-hmm.
And, so yeah, I mean, it does make you second guess yourself. And I think that's like and then I start thinking, if I do this to other people, this doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't right.
Well, I've learned a long time ago, I never to be like, when I'm in like a situation that maybe is uncomfortable, never to be like, you did this or whatever. So I try to be like conscious of that, but I definitely, and not that I always am, like I'm just saying there's other ways to manipulate without saying.
Right. Yeah.
Do you then use words like, I feel like, oh, no, I guess not?
Like I
How
know
would you-
I would be like, like I just got the sense that maybe we could, or what, I don't really know. I mean, I dance around issues terribly, and that's also maybe a topic for another day.
Well, no, and I think too, it's all like I always say this to my husband specifically. Like he's a very detail oriented person, so he does keep receipts right here in his head. And he'll be like, no, that is not what you said. And it could be one word I changed in retelling a story, and he's like, no, I could say like the instead of they or whatever.
Sure.
And he's like, no, you said they. You didn't say that. Like, and then I'm like, oh my gosh. And he's like, it changes the whole story and da-da-da. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Like maybe I'm doing this all the time. He says I butcher stories sometimes. But, also my mind's going a million miles a minute.
Yeah.
I'm, 49 years old with like all kinds of stuff going on. So, maybe sometimes I'm like, I probably need to slow down and think about what I'm saying, so that I'm being accurate.
Sure.
Especially in important things like with friends and family like situations.
That's interesting because I do think that I'm a very detail-oriented person, and
Uh-huh.
I feel like
Do you do that?
I would never correct somebody.
Right.
I don't think, but like in my head, I don't know. Unless it was something extravagant and you were
Right.
like, she said XYZ.
Uh-huh.
And then you said I didn't say, like, I don't know.
Like
That's the
denying.
beauty
I
of a
do-
text message argument.
Yeah.
You're like,
Oh.
I got the receipt.
You're like, here it is.
This is what
right here.
Yes.
I only
June
want to argue
1st,
over text.
3 o'clock.
I only want to like
You said
argue
what you
over
said.
text. That's it. Like if my husband and I are going to argue, we're going to do it over text.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right.
Could you
That's a good point.
Send this to me in a message, please,
Yeah.
so I can print it out.
I think, interestingly enough, like when I think about gaslighting, I before when we were talking about maybe hitting this topic, I was thinking about, do I do it to other people? Maybe, maybe not. But then I also like dove a little deeper, and I was like, wait a minute, I am like self-invalidating myself all day long. So I'm like, maybe I'm the biggest gaslighter of myself.
Yeah, you can do that.
I question
it is-
every decision. I question everything I've said. I talk myself out of every emotion I could ever feel.
Yep.
And I'm totally sick.
And
Okay.
you're up all night.
And I'm
you're
up all night.
worried.
Yeah.
I'm a ball of fun.
I think we would be hard pressed to find people who were not like that. I mean, I'm the same exact way. Because then you're like, I'm being crazy.
Yeah.
I'm being too crazy. Like, I need to stop. I need to. What? Like,
I know. Why do we do? You're not being crazy. I don't ever think that. I am actually crazy, but
Yeah,
you're not.
I think I'm a 50-50.
I'm crazy.
Yeah, I'm a 60-40.
I need therapy, but I'm just going to continue
Crazy.
to do a podcast.
Yeah, this is our therapy every week.
Yeah.
This is this is
No.
really good therapy.
Here's a trivia question. It's kind of off to the side here before we get into some deeper things about gaslighting. But do you both know where the term comes from?
No, good question. No,
Hold
Right.
on. I think I did.
I'm going to trivia question, and
No, go ahead.
I looked it up because I was like, we talk about gaslighting all the time. Where the heck does it come from? Apparently, it was a play in 1938. 1938.
Wow.
A play about a husband
Yeah.
who gaslights his wife into thinking she's crazy.
Yeah. He would like subtly like move furniture. Like every day he would do something wild, like something like minuscule, but like and told
Yeah.
her that she was like nuts.
Insane. And then I think it said in 1944 that they made it. I guess it's the same story into a movie. Yeah. And I think it's called Gaslit or Gaslight or whatever. And then I
great.
started researching like more modern tales of gaslighting because I was like, I think it's good to like have more examples.
Yep.
And it was saying like the movie like The Truman Show is basically an entire movie about. Have you seen it with Jim Carrey?
No.
He basically is on like a
yes,
reality TV
I
show, but he
did.
doesn't even know
He's
he
on
is.
camera, like in a
Yeah.
city that's inside. Yeah,
and it's like he's gaslit the whole time to think these things that are engineered are really truthfully happening. So so I started looking up movies. There's a movie tonight I'm going to watch called it's at Invisible Man, I think it was called, which came out like recently. I never had heard of it, but it's about like a husband who fakes his suicide and he's a scientist and he like wears an invisible suit and messes with his wife or girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, whatever it is,
I want
to make her think.
Okay.
Gaslight. So anyway,
An invisible suit would
so
be
I know
killer.
what this weekend if I can catch a movie, I'm going to watch that. It's on. It's out there. So
I don't want to gaslight anybody, but
No.
I just want to wear an invisible suit.
yeah, that would be kind of
be
cool.
Yeah,
like the
I agree. I agree.
Wow.
So anyway,
I always felt like gaslight was like a new term because
Yeah.
like my kids use it, and I'm like, they say I'm gaslighting them. Like maybe I am. I don't know.
like what?
I-
Like 10
I mean,
years
in
ago,
full
were we saying
disclosure,
gaslight?
I am trying to manipulate them to do what I say to do.
Yeah.
It
Well,
is
yeah.
about power and
But
control.
I'm a mom.
so-
I need to do that.
But like, why all of a sudden is this word?
social media. I
Is
hate to
it
say it.
gaslighting?
Because I
Okay.
feel like every episode we talk about social media in a negative way. But I think it's where would your kids learn?
I know.
They're so Maya, but
Yeah,
I mean,
but, like-
Lexi's young.
Totally.
But they do learn and take in so much. They're like sponges. And I mean, in essence, so are we. Because we already did a show about being influenced and what sponges we are. So,
Like my kids teach me more than I've ever thought that I could.
yeah, no, definitely. And what, and you kind of see yourself in them, and you're like, did I cause them to feel that way? Like, yeah, then you start questioning yourself.
Sure.
So I have notes here,
Okay.
and just about like what gaslighting is, because I was worried that like
you're a gaslighter.
Yeah, but it's like it's a repeated intentional attempt to discredit someone's thoughts. So like if I said to you, you're being crazy.
Like it's really manipulated that what you're saying to me. Is that the right term?
But if I said like as a one-off, like if you're like, am I being crazy? And I say, yeah, you're being crazy. That's not me gassing you up.
No,
That's just me saying like,
you're crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a crazy thought. You don't need to think like that because, you know.
But if you can continue to confide in me, and I'd be like, well, you're being crazy.
Yeah.
Like it's continuous, then yes.
Well, there's like, you're crazy or, yeah, you're crazy. There's
Like if
two
someone
different
says,
ways.
like, I look terrible in this dress, and you're like, or,
You're
you know,
crazy.
I look terrible today, or my haircut's ugly, whatever it could
Yeah.
be, you know, something like personal about them. And then usually a friend will be like, you're crazy. You look so nice. Or, you know, that's a great dress, whatever it is. And, like, I think that's one thing, but I think, like, if I'm saying, like, Dee, you said this to me the other day, and you're like, you're crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't say that, no. You know, you're making it up in your mind. I think that's two different things.
Yeah.
So it's a very fun, you know.
God, I'm a gaslighter. I feel like I am.
Okay, you've never gaslighted me.
I'm not. I don't want to
be
gaslight
honest.
anybody. I honestly don't. But I feel like I'm going through conversations in my head with specifically my husband, and I think we gaslight each other.
Oh yeah, I always tell my husband, I'm like, "You're gaslighting me right now," and he's like, "No, I'm not."
I don't think I've ever used the term. Honest to God, I don't.
And it's
think
really
I've
not
ever
a
used it.
good. Like, it's actually not a good thing. You
But
know what I mean?
no,
Not a
but-
good thing to say, but like sometimes, and I don't think he's a gaslighter.
No.
You know what I mean?
But-
But like some,
In some instances,
yeah.
I would. I don't.
And I'm sure he'd say I am.
Yeah.
Sounds like from all the things I'm reading, what a gaslighter is. So wait, so tell us what you said you have notes. Like, what are some of the things people are, you know, symptoms or
So, making someone feel crazy or irrational, so they become easier to control. It is all about power and control.
Yeah.
Like, it's all about just like getting somebody under your thumb and being able to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gaslighting is an effort to avoid responsibility by twisting the truth consistently.
Consistently.
Got it.
Consistently. And then gaslighting can lead to anxiety and chronic self-doubt, which I feel like I have. Depression, loss of identity, difficulty making decisions, isolation from others. And in extreme cases, it mimics the effects of emotional trauma and PTSD, which is mind-blowing.
So I'm guessing that's like maybe like a relationship, like with a significant other that's really like an mentally abusive relationship probably is in that case.
God, I'm thinking more like not even with relationship. I'm thinking more internally, like what we do to ourselves. Like,
well, yeah.
I've seen it in almost every area of like, you know, how you can manipulate yourself into thinking that you're not the right person for the job or the right
It goes
person
beyond
for...
not believing in yourself. It's like actually just you've convinced yourself you're just not worthy.
Yep.
Which
or like when you make a decision, you're like, oh, that wasn't the right thing to do, or should I have done this? Shoulda, coulda, woulda, kind of thing.
Jen, you definitely gaslight yourself.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna have to leave.
Yeah. She's probably gonna leave here today and be like, I think I gaslit Dan into
Yeah. No, I don't get. I will never. I don't ever want to gaslight other people.
No,
but
you have a heart of
definitely am a gaslighter of
yourself.
my personal.
Yeah, I don't think you can you
in
have a
this
heart
brain.
of gold.
Yeah.
I talk to myself all day.
You have a heart of gold.
Never quiet in my
Oh,
brain.
yeah.
And I think that's, I mean, in the 7 years that we've been friends, you've never once made me feel any particular
Good.
type of
You guys are not gaslighters. At least, like, I've never
Thank
seen
you.
it ever
I hope
happen.
not.
But maybe to ourselves, we really.
But I
are,
feel badly if I would like be like, you're being nuts or you're being crazy or whatever. Like now in my brain, I'm like second.
Well, maybe it's good.
I'm going
though.
back to our text messages.
Everything.
Have you
Yeah,
ever?
pull them out.
But maybe
I
it's
mean,
good
get
now
the
that we'll
receipts.
think about it more because some people are. I mean, like I said, this word is used so often,
Yeah.
and sometimes it's really serious, and then sometimes people just say it like, "Yeah, you're gaslighting," like you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So now maybe it'll make us think a little more about, you know, what we're saying.
Yeah. Can we agree that it's definitely like, I hate to say the word like trendy word, but it's definitely
Oh, it is.
like a buzzword, and it's definitely one that's
You know how they have like word of the year? It was like
Oh.
Riz one year, or whatever.
I still
Like,
don't know what that means.
charisma is Riz,
Oh, for
right,
the love
Dan?
of God.
Riz.
Dan. Any other buzzwords you can think of?
Yeah.
Like,
Gaslight's a huge one.
is gaslight a word that you use? Yeah.
Dan's nice and
Okay.
young. So.
Are we gaslighting you at all? Just
Not yet. You just wait and see.
that's funny.
That's why Gabe's not here today.
I know. I was going to say, if we asked Gabe that, I wonder what he would say.
Yeah, Gabe's known us a little
Gabe,
longer.
report back, please.
I did some research too on like the link, if there was a link between narcissists
Yes.
and gaslighting.
Big time.
Yes.
Big time.
Now,
That comes right up when you research gaslighting.
Oh my God.
Yes.
yeah. Yeah.
I have.
So it says gaslighting is a common tool of narcissistic abuse. So using it to maintain control, avoid accountability, preserve their inflated self-image, and manipulate others into dependency.
And a lot of times it says in the and we're probably researching all the same things because these articles come up, and usually the best ones honestly are like the first ones that come up. You get a lot of information, but it says also if you grew up in a household where maybe like your parents were gaslighters or whatever, you tend to or it's happening in your household. Mm-hmm. So I mean, and I have 2 boys, and I don't want I would hate to think that they would be gaslighting people when they're older. You don't want to think that, but it makes you really think about what you're doing and how you're coming off to other people.
Sure, and I think when we talk about it, like maybe minimizing someone's feelings, like I'm thinking about just how I react to my kids who are having a tough situation, and in that, like if my kids are having a problem with school or whatever, and I try to minimize their feelings, I'm actually doing it from a place of love, like. I don't want you to feel this way. So I try to make it lighter and not feel as heavy so they don't make it like the center of their world that day. Right. But is that something? I don't know. It's very
you're validating their feelings.
When you validate. Well, I mean, like you're validating it. Yeah. But I mean, are you also trying to minimize it? And is that part of what gaslighting is, Interesting.
I mean, growing up in my household, or I guess even in our time, like,
oh yeah.
My mother was very much like, I'll give you something to cry about. And, like, who cares? Like,
Tough love.
I don't like look back and think like,
of course.
Oh my God, my parents were so mean. They're like, stop being a brat. Like,
sure.
Stop being. I was very dramatic, right? We're all surprised.
You weren't.
I don't know if I had a kid who was constantly like mouthing off,
right,
or bitching about something. I'm spitting everywhere. I would,
tough love.
Be like, stop. Right.
Yeah. I think that's definly important sometimes.
I don't know,
because
it really like makes
sure.
It's almost like the internet is gaslighting us, or like the social
God, that's
media,
such a good point.
You're like, they're making you evaluate every single thing in your life.
Oh yeah,
right.
It could make me crazy.
I mean, just think of like all the when you go on the and Instagram's like the worst because it's so many. The videos just kind of suck you in, but you can find something that goes along with what you believe. I always say that, like if you believe the sky is purple, there's probably somewhere on Instagram where someone will convince you the sky is purple when we know the sky is blue. Right. So it's like, Instagram, you can get gaslit all day long if you really feel like it. And now I'm really going to pay attention to it because I don't even think about it. Like I just watch the videos. And in such like crazy times in the world, it's, you can, just look at all the things that go on online. And like I said, anything you kind of want to believe, you can find something to kind of validate that, it's okay. Yeah.
Even like as a woman on social media, like you guys have had kids. Have you ever watched a video where you're like, wow, well, I guess social media wasn't huge. Like where you're like, wow, she just had a baby 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, and
like
she already has abs of steel, and she's sleeping through the night.
And then,
100%.
And like, even like on a lot of times on like TV shows or something, like it's like the woman has a baby, and I know it's TV, but like they're already bouncing back. They don't show like you don't see from like the internet or TV shows or movies like the real truth.
You're not giving birth in a
because I don't know a single woman that has given birth that got a good night's sleep for like 8 weeks. You know what I mean?
8 weeks,
and that's
20
even,
years.
20 years, and that's being generous. Yeah, you know what I mean. So it's just, how do you navigate in a world like this?
It's I feel like
it's not like when we grew up. Like, it's just not like when we grew up.
Because there was no internet, really.
Right. And, like, did we talk about our emotions
no.
as much when we were like younger. Like I don't feel like I ever really.
Never.
No.
I only talk about my emotions with you guys. Lucky you.
Yeah.
But I mean, like
No.
it's not something.
Growing up, I just stomped up the stairs and slammed the door.
Yeah,
and that
right.
was me
And
letting my
blasting
parents
my
know
stereo,
that
yeah.
something was wrong.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
pissed.
I'm like
Yeah.
laying on the floor with like,
Yeah.
I don't know,
Uh-huh.
Janet Jackson in the back. I have no idea. But like that's how I let my parents know, and like they wouldn't approach me unless it was like, I don't know.
Yeah, if the stereo is at a certain volume, they're like, no, we're not
Right.
even going near the door.
Right. But,
You know?
right.
They're not, and they couldn't text you and be like, come down for dinner.
No.
They'd have to come up and I'd be like, go away.
But they
Yeah.
also couldn't Google like, why is my kid doing?
Yeah.
So I just,
Acting out or whatever. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, and there was someone you could talk to on the phone because the phone was in the kitchen, and that cord did not reach all the way
No.
to the bedroom.
No.
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 It's unreal. It's
Like
unreal.
no one, like my parents weren't like, I just told my kid to don't make a scene. Like, is
Yeah.
that, you know what I mean? I feel like people go to the internet to like validate
Yeah.
themselves
Right.
all the time. I don't look back at my parents and think like anything
Yeah.
negatively.
Yeah. And,
Yeah,
and,
no,
and,
that
and
way.
I also
Why?
think it's hard for our parents to kind of almost understand where we're coming from now. Because, like, if my kids are misbehaving, my mom or dad will be like, oh, you know, just send them to their room and with no, like, outside communication to anyone. I'm like, okay, I can take all that away and everything, but, like, it just doesn't have the same effect. I don't know. It's just different. Like, it's like,
Sure.
they're like, it'll get through to them. I'm like, no, it won't.
Right.
And now they have this raging addiction to like social media and,
Yeah.
well, you know, or just like their technology. So they're just pissed.
Well, the other thing too is like when we speak about like the kids and taking those things away, like that's the only way they communicate. Like it's one thing to be like, go outside and play. Like they don't go
can't.
outside and play.
No.
They're like,
And we live in an area now that you know you don't knock up like we've said before
Yeah.
for somebody. Like none of that goes on. It seems as much. So it's just a different world, you know.
so like let's take it back here. So so if you feel like you're getting gaslit, let's just say like, I don't know that it's helpful to say to someone, you're gaslighting me. You know what I mean? Because I think I think people that do it are in denial that they're doing it or whatever. You know what I mean? They're in deep denial. So
No.
I don't know. This is where it gets dicey. Like if it's really bad, like I can't imagine therapists are not giving advice on this every day. We should have a therapist in here.
Yeah.
I really should.
Because this is like, I mean, some people are getting gaslit to the point where, yeah, I mean, they're, like I said, anxiety, depression, like very deep
Sure.
issues.
I wonder though, where's the line of thinking, am I being crazy? Is this person gaslighting me? Like, when do you, if ever, think like,
Yeah.
this isn't right? This doesn't feel right. Like, I'm not always wrong.
Right.
I'm not always remembering things incorrectly. Like, where is that? Or do people just not?
Well, some people are probably scared, but I think if you are communicating with someone that they're upsetting you or like if someone's
Yeah.
truly gaslighting you, I don't think you can just be like, you're gaslighting me. I think you have to say, like what Jen was saying, like, you know, I'm feeling as if, you know, you
Yeah.
always, because no one can question your feelings. You can't ever tell someone they can't feel a certain way.
Yeah.
You just can't. And so I feel like someone told me that a long, long time ago, and it sounds like same with you too. So I think if you just say you're feeling a certain way, whether that helps or not, but in communicating with people, because I don't think people want to, especially people that are gaslighting, want to admit that they're, you know, doing something like that.
Yeah.
And
And they think they're right. I mean, most likely they're going to still think they're right, and they're not going to be flexible on that.
like, where's the line too? Like when you want to be honest with somebody, like you know, we talked about it in the last episode. Your own worst enemy. Like, where is the line of where you can draw to say, hey, this is what you seem to do. Is that gaslighting? Is it being honest? I don't know. I guess there's a way to sort of present it all in a non-threatening, non-pointing the finger kind of way. But there's also a time where it's like you see your friend going through something, you see your kid or your spouse or whoever, like to be honest and say, like, you do this all the time. Is that gaslighting or is that being honest and fair? We need a therapist in here.
We do.
It's
We need-
confirmed.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this is a bigger topic than we're probably doing justice for it. I'm just kind of brushing up. I just wanted to kind of just get it out there, like, because, like I said, it's the most used word. I especially like in psychological situations.
Sure.
It is. I mean, I honestly start noticing how often you say it, or
Yeah.
or you hear it. I guarantee you, almost once a day. at least.
Yeah. Well, now I feel even more crazy than I did.
Did I just gaslight you?
Well, no. Yes. But I also don't want to be friends with gaslighters. So I guess in my brain, I'm trying to think like all these interactions that I have with people. I hope that like somebody would, I don't know, punch me in the face or something.
Yeah, please punch me in the face.
If you're expressing feelings and the other person is like shutting them down, that's gaslighting?
Yeah, they're trying to talk you out of your feelings.
Yeah.
I
don't have feelings often, so like when I do and you're going to shut me down, I need to think about this actually.
Well, I have feelings all day long. So.
I do too. I'm overflowing with feelings.
But no one will ever know it.
Relationship work? I really don't know.
I think we have it's the yin and the yang. She's like the most extreme case here. You're here. I'm somewhere in the middle toward the.
But here's the beauty.
bookends.
Yeah. Like I will be having the
I'm all
worst
over the
day
place.
ever, but you'll never know it until I go home and text with you guys.
Exactly. But
Keyboard warriors.
Yeah, it's amazing.
This is how we really feel.
It's amazing. Acting is a huge part of what we do.
Absolutely. Sometimes you have to put on if you're talking to someone and they're like a brick wall, sometimes it's like you just are like, I'm getting nowhere, and you just kind of have to reevaluate things.
Sure.
definitely.
Of course.
And like I said, if someone that's really truly doing it or doesn't think they're wrong, it's like
Would you tell
talking
me?
to a brick wall.
Sorry,
Would I tell you? I think because we're such good friends and I don't really look at you as a gaslighter, if for some reason you did something that I felt was like gaslighting me, I probably would do the old, I'm feeling like you're saying.
Yeah.
And then I would just look at you like this.
Like you're
Really?
yeah. And
Am I?
I'd actually more than likely I'd text you. I feel that
100%. Listen, I've called
I
Dee.
can't look you in the eye.
Hello? No, it's right off the bat. No.
And we all know Dee
No.
loves talking on the phone.
Dee does not want to. Don't call her. Text her.
Steph called me a couple times in the last few weeks.
I have.
And then if I don't answer, because my phone
I'm
is
like, call me
always-
now.
My phone is always on Do Not Disturb.
Yeah.
It just always is. And every time I miss the call, she'd be like, call me immediately.
Yeah.
And I'm like, come on.
I
please
turn
text
mine
me.
on Do Not Disturb when I sleep, and I think, gosh, if someone in my family has an emergency, I'm no help. But I get panicked.
Yeah.
thinking
Yeah.
about the thing.
Just call me twice and then I'll answer.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Through.
call Rob.
Yeah.
If it's an emergency, just call Rob, and
All right.
then I'll.
So we won't tell Steph face to face
No.
that she's a gaslighter.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
never.
No,
text
you
her.
can tell me.
But just
You can
know
tell
if we're saying, I feel as if, we're subtly gaslighting, but we're not. We're doing it in the nicest way possible. Just know.
No, I think we did. It's your good friends. You should be able to say how you're feeling. But if you guys were hardcore gaslighting me, or I was you, I don't think any of us would really put out with that.
Stay tuned for a text in about 7 minutes. I'll look at your.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. So should we do a little rapid fire before we wrap up, or are we
Oh,
prepared, or what do you want to do? You want to do it? You want to do it or
Yeah.
not?
You guys start. Go
Let's
ahead.
do it.
All right.
What you got?
Biggest strength.
Are you kidding me? That's what you lead with?
Yes, I do.
I would say kindness.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you now, girl.
You know.
My
You
palms
know
are
what it is.
sweating.
I know
is
what it is.
What?
Yours?
Tell me.
I think honesty, loyalty.
I think
I would say loyal.
making people happier.
Okay.
Yeah, honesty or loyalty.
that's
What about
nice.
you, Miss Jen?
I don't know, honestly.
See?
That's a weird question.
But we could
Ew.
pick 9 million for you. Yeah. Ew, your own question.
I think I try to make people smile. Like, that's what I want
think you're
to do.
1000%.
kindness, like
Yeah.
same thing, and just like
Even when I want to gaslight them, I try to make them. I don't want to gaslight.
you just bring joy to like
Oh,
you
thanks.
know.
1000%. When
Yeah.
people say that you are like the Energizer Bunny, I hope that you don't take offense to that, because I think that is just such a good, like, you
It's a
just
good
are
thing.
No,
so,
I don't take offense to
make
it. But
people
in my
happy.
head, I'm like, oh my God, people think I'm crazy. Oh my
No.
God, I'm too excited.
Absolutely
Oh,
not. There's
But,
a video of Kermit at Christmas.
Yeah, I know
when
it.
He's like,
I know it.
headbanging,
Oh, it's
and
John.
I
I
shared
know
it,
it.
and I'm like, I
Yeah.
probably shouldn't have done that, because he does look like he's like shaking his swinging the head.
He's
But it's
having
like
the time
you,
of his
like, you
life.
are- when you are there, you are just like so fun.
Was
Yeah.
this like a subliminal therapy session for? Were you guys
Yeah.
trying?
You
It
should
might
actually,
be.
like, lay down.
It
and,
might
like,
be.
Yeah.
Okay.
I needed it today. Thank you, ladies.
Okay, let's do something more simple.
Okay.
Let's see. Favorite comfort food.
Ooh, French fries.
Oh,
What you got?
pizza.
Chocolate of all kinds, but like, I love the chocolate. Give it all. It can be cake. It can be in the form of a cookie, a chocolate bar. I'm in.
like
Dan,
that.
what's your favorite comfort food?
Put me on the spot.
Listen to Dan's voice. Can you hear it?
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's really
Probably ice cream.
ice cream.
Oh, I
now
love a
that's
good ice
one,
cream
too.
cone.
Oh my gosh, soft serve ice cream.
Oh,
Next
that's my
level.
favorite.
You guys, have you been to ice cream yet?
No,
Speaking of soft serve,
I might go right now.
it's
I do need a
amazing.
snack.
Was there the other day.
Is
Okay,
it soft serve?
It is soft serve that is like natural and
just really
It's
good
like nothing
quality
you've ever had.
ingredients. Okay,
Sphere.
we're going.
He owns pizza. He owns steaks. He owns ice cream.
All right, we're
And
coming.
we're
We're gonna make a trip. Field
gonna
trip.
make a trip, field trip for sure. How about dream job?
Podcaster.
Yeah, good answer.
I want to work in the IKEA and like design the sets.
Oh, that would be a designer. That's
so
great.
Like
Fun.
putting together.
That would be
just being
super
able to
fun.
go through the store and like
Yeah.
pick
right.
and just design those.
I
sets.
love it. I love that. All right.
Well, I used to work in fashion merchandising, and I have to say that was kind of a dream. It was so wonderful, like
Yeah.
to like create displays and how the items are going to look in the store. It's so much fun. So that's also. But right now podcasting is so much fun.
I
This
love
is
it.
so much
It
fun.
really is.
What about you, Jen? Do you have like a?
I feel like I like what I'm doing.
Okay.
So I love the podcast. I like being building community,
communications,
speaking
community. Yeah.
to people, and that good
Okay.
stuff, so.
Okay.
All right.
Anything else before we say goodbye today?
I have got nothing.
No, we
All
need a
right.
therapist. So if
Okay,
you're a
so
therapist,
Sarah-
Yes,
Give us
reach
a
out.
call.
We're gonna need a 2-hour.
We're still learning. We really, honestly, this has been interesting because I don't even know if I'm 100% sold on all this gaslighting stuff. I mean, I'm sold on it, but I need to know more.
I do too.
I don't know
would
that this
agree.
has been helpful, but I just wanted to kind of just talk about it.
Yeah.
I know,
I think
yeah.
it's interesting. Yeah. Anyhow, well, thank you all for listening, and we
Yes.
will be back next week with another new episode.
right.
Thank
Have a good
you.
day.
Bye.